YouTube, what up? It's the Cargo Van Man, dropping another video for y'all today, man. Let's get it. Yo, before you go and purchase a cargo van or sprinter van, watch this. Watch this video before you go and purchase yourself a cargo or a sprinter van, all right? So check it. The other day, somebody dropped a comment on one of my videos here, asked me to make a video about all of this stuff. So I thought, you know what, man, this sounds like a great topic to bring a lot of value to y'all. So that's what I'm going to do. Before we hop into that, man, what up to everybody out there, man? I know there's a lot of new subscribers, so I just want to say what up to all of you. Welcome to the channel. I'm just here to share my journey, man. I've been in this business for a few months. Last year I got started doing a FedEx contract for like 6 months. Then I switched gears back in January. I started my own LLC, and now I've been running this way. So I created this channel just to put the knowledge out there, put what I'm learning, put everything out there for y'all, so y'all can soak that up, and hopefully this will contribute to you making some good decisions in your life that may be able to take you away from maybe your 9 to 5, or maybe it's just a side hustle that puts some more money in your guys' bank account and do some cool stuff, man. Maybe you're gonna go on some extra vacations with that money. I don't know, right? Everybody's got a different why, but my why for this channel is to just inspire, to share, and to essentially just, yeah, man, that's it, to inspire and share, man. So do with it what you will. I want to kind of break this video down in a couple of different ways. I want to talk about buying new versus used, paying cash versus finance. I want to talk about rentals. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on rentals, to be honest, but I'll share my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of break it down, like some pros and cons. That's what we're going to get into, all right? And a little background on me, just so y'all know. In a past life, not really a past life, but in this life, it seems like forever ago, I sold cars for about, 5.5 years. I do have some background in finance and in car sales, and yeah, so this is a topic that I was kind of stoked to talk about. And also, I wanted to share a little bit about my vehicle purchase and the way I got into my van, because I actually was talking to the dealership that I purchased my van to see if we can maybe do something to support the community, if something makes sense for you guys, right? So I'll get into that more at the end of the video on maybe how we might be able to help you find a van and purchase a van through my buddy's dealership. So stay tuned. We'll get into that towards the end and kind of why I decided to do this. So, but before we get into it, make sure to go and smash that subscribe button. If y'all haven't already done that, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified of new videos, so that way y'all can get all of this content, man. It's free. You hit the bell and you're notified of free content that if you apply what I'm putting out, you'll probably see some changes in your life, man. Obviously it's not going to be everybody. Different markets are different. Maybe some of the apps aren't available for you. Maybe you got to get creative and go about it a different way. You know what I'm saying? Don't jump into any of this without knowing that, just so you guys know too. Like, don't jump into purchasing a van without a solid plan. Okay. So also think about that too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to see anybody make some, I've heard of the stories, man, of people getting vans and want to put drivers on or wanting to do it this way. And it takes some work, bro. You got to be willing to work, right? But anyways, man, let's get into it. So purchasing new, what are the pros, right? So a couple of the pros that I wanted to kind of point out was obviously, like, one of the pros buying a new van is it's likely coming with a warranty, right? Manufacturer warranty, which that is always good to have, that peace of mind for those big, super expensive things that could go wrong, transmission, drivetrain type stuff. You're covered. You start having electrical issues, likely that's going to be covered, right? Obviously look into, wherever you're buying it, different manufacturers are going to have different warranties, but you're likely going to have a manufacturer warranty. Another thing is, obviously buying new, you're less likely to have maintenance issues. You're going to have a lower maintenance expenses going out each month. Okay. Another thing is you're able to get exactly what you want, right? You're able to put an order in and get what you want. Maybe it takes a little bit. Maybe that they got to wait for it to come. So you may have to do that. That was actually going to be one of my cons, but Yeah, man. And another positive thing when you're buying new is you might also get incentivized rates or discounts. Okay, so what that means is like sometimes manufacturers, they actually offer an incentivized rate to finance the vehicle through their lender. Maybe you're able to get like 0% or 0.9% or 1.9%, something like that, like these low type of rates sometimes are offered. And then on the addition to that, maybe sometimes you can get like an incentivized discount, like maybe because you finance the vehicle, they're able to apply an extra $1,000 of cash on top that's coming from the manufacturer or whatever. Cons. All right, so the cons are going to be, obviously it's a higher price point, right? When you buy a new vehicle, it's going to cost more, right? You're paying that additional premium because it is brand new. Buying it brand new, you're going to get hit with the most depreciation. You keep that in mind. But obviously, if this is going to be a long term and this is just a van you're going to run for years, and you're going to get 2-3 years out of it or 4 years out of it, whatever, is that difference, it's going to be up to you if it makes sense for your business, right? Obviously, another con is, again, like you're able to order exactly what you want, the exact model, length. You want the 250, the 350, XYZ. So it's like you get that, but maybe there's a wait time. Maybe you're 3 months out, right? So keep that in mind. You got to think about these type of things. Another thing is buying new. Obviously, since it is more expensive, if you don't have the credit or the income to actually get approved to be financed on that high dollar amount, so if you're financing 40-50 grand, and you don't have freaking high 700 to 800 score, and you don't have the payment to income, then probably not going to be able to get financed on that unless you put a big down payment down. And that's when we get into down payment, right? Down payment's really to, a couple things, like get your payment to income where it needs to be, to make sure that you're not financing a bunch more. Because obviously, like if a vehicle is worth $40,000, right? That say that's the the MSRP or whatever, and you're adding taxes and this and that. Maybe you do an extended warranty. Now all of a sudden you're financing $47,000, $50,000 on a vehicle that's worth $40,000, and if you don't have pristine credit, right, the banks may want some money down because they're lending more than what the vehicle is worth, so it's obviously at a greater risk, right? So those are different things, and when it comes to down payment, that's how that kind of helps you out, and it helps you get a lower monthly payment, obviously, right? Yeah, man. So that's new. Okay, what is a pro of used? So one of those pros would obviously be a lower entry point. It's going to cost less money. So because it costs less money, you can get into the game with less money. All right. Another thing, for those of us that may not be, the best credit, right? Maybe we're a little challenged and, we need some assistance. There's alternative type banking options, right? Like secondary lending. You can get financed possibly through those type of banks if you're buying used. So that's obviously, a potential pro for somebody that maybe is like 600, in the 600s, low 600s, and is like, trying to figure out how they can get into it. Like when I got my van, I think I was a 623 or something like that, 624. So, that's what it was. I got financed with a credit union. But yeah, man, so there's different options. Now, another pro of buying used is you're not going to get hit with that depreciation as much, right? As soon as you drive off the lot with a new vehicle, it instantly depreciates, right? It's a used vehicle now. So buying used, you don't get that, so that's a pro. Now, a con is it's obviously used, right? Don't really have to say much about that. It's used, it's not going to be perfect, could have some cosmetic damages, different things like that. Now, there's also obviously the potential for higher maintenance expenses. You want to make sure that if you're buying used, definitely make sure you have a good report, that everything checks out, mechanics looked over it, stuff like that. Like those are all, obviously very important steps to take. But there's still always the, potential unexpected repairs that come about with a used vehicle that you can't really account for. So obviously maintenance expenses are typically going to be higher buying a used vehicle than if you were to be going new. So something to think about. Let's hop into if we're buying a van cash versus say financing or leasing, okay? If we were to buy a van cash, okay, what are some pros? So obviously it's ownership, right? If I pay cash, I own it. It's not owned by the bank, okay? It's going to be less overhead each month, right? I don't have a payment, so I'm not going to have that expense, which means lower overhead, which means more cash flow. Now, number 3, obviously no finance charges or interest, okay? So you're going to pay less overall for a vehicle that you buy outright cash than if you were to finance it, okay? Because obviously financing, you're going to be paying for interest and all that different stuff, so you pay more than what you actually bought the vehicle for. Another thing about paying cash is you get to also, kind of like when I said buying new, you get to purchase exactly what you want, because you're not going to be limited by banks, credit, and payment to income, okay? So like if you got the cash and you want to get whatever van it is, you can go get it. You don't have to worry about what the banks say. One thing to think about when you finance a vehicle is there is the potential that if you're buying a commercial vehicle, some banks aren't going to finance you with a commercial vehicle. So being able to pay cash means that you don't have to worry about that either, and you can still, again, buy whatever you want. Now, obviously there's cons though. What are some of those cons? It's a higher entry to start, okay? That's a no-brainer, right? Like, it's obviously going to be more expensive to start because you're paying cash. So you're going to have to come up with more money to invest into your business to get it started. And obviously then it's going to take longer to see an ROI on that, because now you have to, pay back that amount to be able to see an actual ROI. So you're not going to see an ROI as quickly paying it cash. So let's go on to financing then. So if we finance, like, what's a pro? A pro for financing would be a lower cost of entry, right? You don't have to come up with as much cash to get into the business. Maybe you got to come up with a down payment or something for the van, but then it's able to, get you started. Another thing is you're going to sometimes get different manufacturers are going to offer different discounts if you finance. So there is that potential, right? Like, you could possibly get, $1,000, $2,000 cash back. Maybe it's the end of the year and they're doing something to clear their inventory, and they're doing like $3-4 grand, off of the new vehicles or whatever. Trying to get rid of them. So sometimes the manufacturers need to move things, so they add additional like bonus cash. So financing may open up that potential. And then also, again, you're going to see an ROI a little bit faster because you're getting into the game with less money, so you're able to then kind of get going. But again, there obviously are going to be cons, and one of those cons is going to be a higher overhead, right? So yeah, you're going to see ROI a little bit faster, but as your business is going and growing, it's like less cash flow because you have to clear that payment every month. If you had paid, cash, obviously you would not have that. So like for me, for example, I financed my vehicle and I'm paying $600 a month. So I have to clear that $600 in overhead on my van, whereas some people that have purchased outright don't have to worry about that. Obviously, another con is going to be you're paying more for your van overall because there is going to be interest and finance charges. So you're paying more for your van, okay? Obviously. If you got the money and it's not going to hurt you and you can get yourself into a van and it makes sense for your business and you've like determined that, obviously paying cash, like I would have bought my van cash if I had that option. Negative, it's bank owned, you don't own it, so. And then I mentioned this earlier, but not all banks finance commercial vehicles. So there is that, there are loopholes. I didn't even realize it, but I just happened to be getting the van that I decided to get when I bought my van was a passenger van that was converted into a cargo van. And it actually worked out because, again, they don't like financing cargo vans and stuff like that, but mine's classified as a passenger van. So it actually made it easier for us to get financed than to say if it was labeled as a cargo van. All right. None of that was planned, like literally, because I wasn't planning to get into this business. I got my van, was hoping to then convert it into a camper, and like that was something I wanted to do for me and my girl, and still is going to be the plan. I'll probably get a larger one, to be honest, than what I got now. But yeah, that's why I got my van, and yeah, whatever. Anywho, let's get back to it. So leasing. All right. I didn't want to say too much like pros and cons, because like, to be honest, I get a lot of questions about leasing. I personally don't know, man. Like, it seems very expensive, right? Like I'm paying $600 a month for my van. When I look at leases on vans, I'm seeing people paying like $400 something to like $600-700 a week, you know, also mileage added in. And it's like, yo, if you're, I don't know, man, I wouldn't want to be spending $2-3 grand a month on a van. But if you can make it make sense, and you can figure out how to work that overhead and get, you know, where you need to be, and maybe you have less money and things you got to, you know, pay for, maybe you can make it make sense. I don't know. If you can, make sure to drop that in the comments. If you figured out how to make it make sense, like, share that, man. Like, there's a lot of people that would gain a lot of value from that knowledge, myself included. So share that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for, you know, kind of like going through, you know, buying new and used, cash, finance, or lease, right? And then I also wanted to just kind of jump in just briefly and, you know, go over like insurance and stuff like that. You know, these are other expenses and stuff that you kind of got to think about. You know, my insurance that I have $1 million auto liability, $100,000 cargo, and then I also have general liability. I think mine's only at 500,000 and 1 million, but I'm actually likely going to change it to $1 million to 2 million. I do have some opportunities that are needing that, so I may do that. It's not going to raise it much. So, but yeah, so insurance is a big one. Honestly, there's so many different factors that are going to factor into what your insurance cost is going to be. I got super lucky. I'm doing local stuff. I got linked up with an awesome State Farm agent, got me a super dope rate, and I'm paying like less than $280 a month. Okay, not everybody gets that. I was quoted by Progressive for like $700 a month. You know, $1,200-1,300 down. I didn't even pay any down payment. I just had my first month's payment. And yeah, so I got super lucky. Not everybody's gonna, you know, possibly be able to get that. So make sure to take that into account also before you get in and you get your van and all that. You know, you're gonna have to come up possibly with a down payment for insurance. Like I said, Progressive was trying to quote me at like $1,200-1,300 down. I just got super lucky, man, but I can't say everybody out there is going to. So be prepared for that. Get yourself some quotes on insurance and stuff, and kind of have an idea what that's going to look like before you get yourself a van, because that's going to be, yeah, it's expensive, man. So like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I wanted to share something with you guys now. So I actually talked to my buddy, right? I have a friend that owns a used car dealership. I used to work there actually. And yeah, I sold cars there, and then I did finance there, and you know, it was a bunch of friends and stuff. We all worked together in different dealerships, and kind of, it was cool, man. I've purchased what, three vehicles through them now in the last like what, 5 years, and they always take care of me, man, and they always figure out a way to get me done. And you know, I don't have the best credit, and I think when I got my van, I was about a 623 or whatever, 624. But yeah, man, so when we got my van, I bought it through them, but we actually bought it from the auction, and found it online through the auction. They bid on it, we got it, it was then shipped out. They did the repairs on it, and then I was able to take the vehicle, right? So, you know, I was thinking like, man, I know a lot of y'all are having trouble, you know, finding vans and whatnot. So I wanted to talk with them and first make sure like, hey, is this something you guys are good with? Like, would you be able to find enough vans? Like if I sent you guys some people. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because if y'all need some help, man, let me know, right? Like drop in the comments. Like what I'll probably do is drop a little form down in the description. Go click on that and just put your information in, so that way I can get in touch with you, or have them get in touch with you. And then what we'll do is we can then kind of talk and see if we can figure out a way to get something for you that makes sense, and that way I can, you know, support y'all in getting into a van, man. I know it's difficult finding them right now, but they can get them through the auctions, and then, you know, get the financing set up. If you want to go that way, you can pay cash. Now obviously if you're not in Arizona, you'll have to pay for shipping and stuff like that, so you know there is those expenses. But for those of you that are, you know, struggling to find a van, or find somebody to finance you or whatnot, this may be an option for you. So keep that in mind. If that's you, make sure to go down into the description, click the link, and just fill out that form real quick, and then we can get your information, so then somebody can reach out and see if there's some way we might be able to help. All right, so yeah, man, much love from me to you. I hope y'all got so much value from this video. Again, thank y'all for rocking. The channel is blowing up, man. The TikTok's blowing up. I actually just got banned, but I think everything should be coming back. I got an email saying that it's just temporary, even though I was told that it's a forever ban. But I'm hoping I'll be back on there here in the next day or so. But anyways, y'all, much love. Stay tuned for the next video. I will see y'all again soon. Peace.